Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Team Dare to Dream, Dream Big team call. And tonight I'm really excited to talk with you about some power inviting tips, because I can see in our group that you all are doing lots and lots of inviting, and some of you are running out of people to invite. Some of you aren't sure what to do next. So we're going to cover those things, but I'm really excited by what you're doing and this month and the way you're growing. That's what excites me the most, is I just see so much growth amongst all of you. So I'm really, really proud of you guys, and just keep sharing and inviting. I am going to share my screen because I have a little slide to share with you. So hopefully you are not just on the phone, but you can also see my screen. And where's my PowerPoint? All right, so I have my notes up here so that we can save them into our team files and have them to refer to forever. Just for your information, we have a team Google Drive, and the link to that is in our pinned post on our team page. In the very first comment, there's a link, and there's actually a whole entire folder in there called Inviting Scripts. I hope you guys knew that. If you didn't, I hope that it's exciting news. So let's go ahead and start talking about some power inviting tips. So I've got 10. The first one is invite always. And some of you have asked, well, what do I invite to? You are always inviting to a challenge group, to my next challenge group, whatever that may be. Who even knows if you have one planned yet? You always are going to have a challenge group planned. There's always a challenge group for somebody, whether it be yours, whether it be somebody else's. When somebody's ready to work out, when somebody's ready to get fit, we are always going to have a place for them. So a lot of times when I'm inviting, even when I know when my next challenge group is scheduled to start, in my head, I'm still inviting people to join my next challenge. That's all you have to say is, would you like to join my next challenge? Do you have some fit goals you're looking to hit? You can also invite them to try Shakeology. So you can offer free samples. If you get more than one shipment of Shakeology to your house, and I know we did when I first started as a coach, we got mine, and then we had John's, and John was drinking it, but I always ordered the second shipment in a box so I could have sample packets. And so you can, every few weeks, if you want, every couple of weeks, offer samples. And there's actually a sample script in our Team Dare to Dream Google Docs that exactly tells you how to sample Shakeology. You can invite people to our next free challenge. Team Dare to Dream always has some kind of a free challenge every month. And you can always invite people to look at the business opportunity via our business op, which is every other week, or our sneak peek, which is every other week. So every single week, there is a business opportunity to invite people to. So if you are inviting people to the business opportunity, you always have that. Would you like to join our sneak peek? Can I add you to our next business opportunity? Can I send you a webinar? If people can't come to the actual business op, or they don't want to take the time to do a 5-day sneak peek, say, no problem, I totally get it. And I'm going to tell you how to do this. I'm giving you a heads up. If I send you a recorded webinar, would you be able to watch it? If I send you a recorded webinar or a video, would you be able to watch it? You can even tell them how long it is. There's hundreds of different videos we've got, again, in our Team Dare to Dream folder. There's all kinds of videos, from short ones to long ones. On my YouTube channel, I have playlists for you. And there's one whole playlist called What is Coaching? And every call we record is in that playlist. You can pick the one you like the best. And in your Beachbody Team Beachbody YouTube channel, there's also the little short 2-minute video about what is Team Beachbody. So you have to gauge where your people are, but there's always something to invite to. And your invite may be, would you like, if I send you this video, would you take a look? You know, maybe you have a friend that you really think would make a great coach. And you send her a message and you say, hey, I'm really excited about this thing that I'm doing. And it's really uplifted me so much. And I just view everything so differently. I'm so excited. If I send you a 2-minute video, would you take a look and tell me what you think? 2-minute video. It's kind of hard, I think, for especially if this is your warm market, like a friend or a cousin or a sister, to say no. If I send you this 2-minute video, would you take a look and tell me what you think? When you ask somebody's opinion, it's very flattering, right? So of course, oh yeah, I'll take a look. And especially if it's 2 minutes, they can just play it right then and there. So third-party tools, that's something you can invite to. So we just talked about this. You can invite to your next challenge, whenever that may be. You can invite to try the product. You can invite to a free group. You can invite to one of our business opportunities. You can invite to view a video. And here's another thing that I wanted to mention. We also have challenge group videos. So if you go into YouTube and you Google ever feel like this, there's a really fun, I used to use it all the time, little challenge group video that explains what a challenge group is. So if you're talking to somebody about a challenge group and say, hey, I'm getting ready to start my end of summer challenge, I know we had talked about you wanting to, kind of feel better this Labor Day in your bathing suit, whatever. If I send you this 3-minute video about the kind of challenge groups I'm running, would you take a look? I think you would really, really love them. How about that? So invite, you always have something to invite to. And remember, third-party tools, which are videos, it's a great way to explain something without you having to explain it. So that's our first tip, invite always. So I wanted to just give you an example. Before this call, from 7 to 7:30 my time, I sat down and I invited 50 people. 50 in 30 minutes. Okay? So think about what we're recommending that you do. Invite 5 people a day. How long should that take you to do? Divide 30 minutes or 30 minutes by 50. Somebody that's good at math, tell me how long it takes to send an invite. Now, tell me again what you think after I finish this step-by-step process, because I'm going to tell you how to make it super easy. So always invite. Number 2, remember, a Facebook post is a conversation starter. It is not an invite. Okay? When we talk about inviting, it's a one-to-one connection. So even when we create an event and you invite hundreds of friends to this event, that does not count as hundreds of invites. That is, that's like throwing wet spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. What sticks is the invite. So if you invite 200 people to an event and 20 of them RSVP yes, now you can count those as an invite. And the reason is this, because now you're going to go into the personal message process with them. Okay? So we actually, I'm going to show you, we have in our Team Dare to Dream Google Docs, and thanks to Gabrielle, I can see you right there. I love to share her challenge group inviting script. That I'm going to give you a link to that, but that's already there available to you. But the script starts with step 1, which is, hey, would you like to join my challenge group, so to speak? Whenever you do an event and you invite people to the event, the 200 and the 20 that say they're going to come, you basically start on step 2 now. Because they've already said, yeah, I'd like to join your challenge group. I'd like to know more about that. And we're going to talk about what that next step is, because a lot of you have asked, well, people said they're interested, now what do I do? But just keep in mind that a Facebook post is a conversation starter, okay? I want to just say real quick, Facebook, the reason it's so important you understand number 2 is because I know myself, I hid behind my Facebook post a lot when I was a new coach. I just didn't want to have to go there. And you know what there was? There was the private message. I just didn't want to have to go there if I didn't have to. I'm an introvert. I'm not a great chit chatter. I'm not, I'm a type, I'm a red personality if you've ever done the personality coach. So I'm a get right to the point kind of gal, So this whole process of inviting and, really, it's about relationship building is what it is. And it's something I had to learn. And I can tell you that anyone can learn it. And the more you practice it, the better you will become at it. And I think the better person you will be, because being curious about our fellows and being just, seeking to form relationships with people, I think makes us a better people. So that's just a little aside about that. And again, after we go through this, that'll make a lot of sense to you. But here's number 3 on power inviting. KISS, keep it simple, silly. And what I mean by that is, how did I send 50 invites in 30 minutes? Because I keep it simple. Every invite does not have to be a personal letter that's just for that one and only person that, you had it engraved at, things remembered with their name and their birth date and you new favorite color. I mean, keep it simple. And here is the exact invite that I sent to 50 people. And what I did was I put it in my phone. I typed it into my notes in my phone, and I copied it. And I did all my inviting from my phone. The challenge I have with inviting is I'm going to invite, and this is the next step, I think. I'm inviting everybody. So I need to have a system for doing that so I know where I leave off, right? Because if I invited 50 people tonight, I still have, 3,549 more to go until my list is complete, right? Because I'm inviting everybody. So I have to have a system. And when you open up your friends list on Facebook, it doesn't open it in any particular order. It doesn't have it in alphabetical order. So what I do on my phone is I open up my friends list on my phone, and then I click on friends and I say search. It gives you do you want to search? And I just type in A. Now, it gives you everybody that has an A in their name, but at least it's a place to start. I mean, so that way, I can just go through that list. And when I get done here, if I want to sit down while I watch Big Brother, because I will watch Big Brother after this with Sydney, if I want to just pop out some 20 more invites while I'm sitting on the couch, on commercials, I can do that. I can totally do that. And you can too. You can do that while you're waiting for your kids at soccer practice. You can do that while you're, on your lunch break at work. You can go sit in a quiet spot and just pop out some invites. Okay? So this is the script I use. Now, what I say is use a standard invite script for each round of inviting. So this is my round right now, and I created a group for those of you that are asking. I created an invite, actually, an event. Sorry, let me get my words right. I created an event, and I called it the Body versus Bikini Challenge, just because I liked the alliteration aspect of the B's and the B's. And you guys can all use that event to invite to if you would like to. And this is what I did. And the reason I can say I wanted to make sure you saw is because I've already created the conversation starter, right? Chances are nobody's seen it. And the chances are even greater for you that nobody's seen it. But it's there, right? And you can invite people to it. And you can even send them a link and say, well, hey, here's the link to the invite, to the event. Come and take a look at it. Would you take a look at it? Or something like that. So keep it simple, okay? And this makes it personal, right? You can make, and if it's my best friend and I'm inviting her, well, then I'm going to tweak it a bit, so that it doesn't just sound like that. So that's what you do. Number 4, who do you invite? Everyone. So we already talked about that. Invite without filters. And that's really important. Invite without judgment. Invite without assumptions. Don't assume that you know the answer. Don't speak for somebody else. Okay? You don't know what people are going through. And I had to learn this by living it. I had to learn this by living it. I had to learn because I didn't. I would pull people out. And let me tell you this. When you start subtracting people from your list, you're not going to get 50 invites in 30 minutes, because it's going to take you 30 minutes to figure out which 5 people you're going to send this invite to. It's going to take you 30 minutes to figure out which 5 people. If it's taking you 30 minutes to invite 5 people, that's why, because you are spending too much time trying to figure it out. You're trying to figure out who will say yes. And really, we really want to get out to everybody and figure out who's going to say no, right? Go for no. Yes, it's the destination. Every single personal development book you will ever read that talks anything about building your business or overcoming your fear of failure, not even about business, but your fear of failure. Every single book will talk about going for no. Whatever it is in life, go for the no. No successful person has ever succeeded by only seeking the yes answer. None. 0. Read biographies of successful people, sports figures, business people, motivational. Read them. You will see that they have failed over and over and over and over. I just finished a book called The Rhythm of Life by Matthew Kelly. Love that book. And I checked it out from the library, so now I'm going to have to go buy it so I can have it always. Talks so much about that. And The Rhythm of Life is a book about being successful in life, about being your best you. It's not about business, but he has a whole chapter in there about how you have to seek the no answers in life. You have to go for the things that you know you're going to fail at, because on the other side is success. So the next piece of this, I thought that was there. Maybe it's on another place. Oh, it is. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about the who and the invite without filters. But that's the key to that. What I wanted to say is this. When I stopped inviting with filters, when I stopped assuming that I knew what people were going to say, I started getting a lot more yeses. I asked a lot more people, which means I got more no's, but I got more yeses. And I can remember when I started doing this. And gosh, I'm trying to think. I think it was November. I can remember. It was November, December, the months after I left my job and was now faced with making Beachbody my full-time career and trying to figure out how I was going to take, and I shared this with you, how I was going to take my $600 a month income that I was making and turn that into a 6-figure annual income. How was I going to do that? Because I was doing what I was told to do. I was inviting and I was doing all this. And I'm like, I'm looking at my list. I'm like, I've kind of asked everybody on my list. And then I, was doing my personal development and I realized I haven't asked everybody on my list. Have I? So I had to go back and I started at the top and I just started asking everybody. And it made me so nervous. Sweaty palms. It took me longer to get up the nerve to do that than it did to take me to actually do it. Because remember, I did it at the library. I can remember this. I don't know why I went to the library, but I did. I was at the library. And because I was no distractions. And I started inviting everybody. And ding, 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 I started getting messages back. I got messages from people very kindly saying, "Oh, thanks so much for thinking of me. I've got something else going on right now, but I really appreciate you reaching out." I was like, really? And then I would get messages from people saying, "Well, no, I haven't seen that." Because, "Hey, did you see this?" "No, I hadn't seen that. But, actually, I have been thinking about blah, 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 blah." I got a lot of ignores. A lot of people didn't respond at all. Oh, well. But I was very surprised. And that was enough to convince me. And I know that you guys are doing that. Because I see your comments. Like, I'm asking everybody. And so I know you're doing that. And I hope that you're experiencing some of that. Number 5 is expand. If you're not experiencing a lot of responses to your inviting of everybody, we need to talk about expanding your friends network. Let me just go on to say right now, anytime somebody responds to me, that's a positive. So when you're inviting everybody and you're inviting without filters, if somebody responds to tell you, thanks for thinking of me, but no, that's a win. Because now you know that person now you can form a relationship with them. Now you've made a connection. And this is about connecting with people. And that's really how I want you to look at your inviting. It's about connecting with people. It's about building relationships. And anytime somebody responds to you, that says, unless they tell you to get lost, which I don't know. Maybe that's happened once. I don't know. It just, at the time it upset me, but I don't even remember. It's like, woo, whatever. People are generally nice. And, even when they respond and say, oh, thanks for thinking of me, but no, you're like, oh, well, I'm so glad you've got something that's working for you, or whatever. You can extend that relationship. And you never know, just by opening that conversation, where that may go somewhere down the road. I have had people that told me no in the beginning, told me they had a plan that was working for them, that they were all about, and then 6 months later, they were ready to do a challenge with me. I've had coaches, some of you may be on the call, that I started talking to years ago, and it was just no after no after no, but it was still, like a relationship building thing. I mean, every time I reached out to them, I didn't say, hey, you want to be a coach? But it was just, we built our relationship over time. Until one day they said, I'll take a look. Yeah, okay. So any response to me is a good response, because how awful is it to just get crickets? I know some of you said you get crickets. Crickets is the worst, right? It's just the worst. Tell me no, but just don't ignore me, right? Well, they're not necessarily ignoring you. People sometimes don't see the message. Sometimes they may see it. And, maybe they read it when they were, at a stoplight and they totally forgot about it, right? Maybe they read it and they just weren't interested and they didn't respond. Sydney says she has a friend that every time she invites her to anything, she always responds, no, thank you. And she's like, it's like, she's so polite. She wants to at least respond. But it's kind of funny. But yeah, any response is a good response. So, number 5, expand. How do you make new friends? Well, you make new friends by going out and friend requesting new people. There is the amount of people on Facebook is, I don't know, it's not infinite, but it's infinite enough that you're not going to run out of people to be friends with. Let me just put it that way. Go to your friends list and click on somebody. I used to be able to click on Michelle, because I'm looking at Michelle Brewster, because she lived in my neighborhood. And I'm like, oh, let's see. Well, then Michelle became a coach. And so I can't go and do friend requesting to all Michelle's friends anymore. But, then maybe I have a school friend. And I'm like, okay, well, it's now that part of my activity, my daily activity as a coach. One of them is meeting new friends. So, okay, it's time to meet new friends. Okay, I need to find 5 new friends today. So maybe I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to go into Susie's, I'm going to look at her friends, and I'm just going to browse and see, people that we have several mutual friends in common with, and you can see their picture, and you can, kind of go into their page and see, oh yeah, they look like they'd be nice, and just shoot them a friend request. I probably shot off, 10 before I did my 50 invites. So that's how you make new friends. I used to do it when I first started. I did it by going into different groups and different pages. That is more challenging now, I think, than it used to be. Pages are done differently, but I met one of our coaches on the Shape magazine page. I commented on some comments and we started conversing. I shot her a friend request, and the next thing you know, she's a challenger, and then she became a coach, and she's actually a diamond coach. So there's lots of different places. That to me takes a little bit more time. That's a little more time consuming than friends and mutual friends. And Facebook also recommends people that you may know. How nice is that of Facebook to do that for us? It's like matchmakers. They're like trying to recommend people. I'll be quite honest. They recommend like a lot of, number one, if it's somebody that has 45 mutual friends, it's probably a coach. So I can, oh no, they're not, no. And then I'll just I'll X them so that Facebook doesn't recommend them anymore. Guys, a lot of times I don't do random friend requests to guys just because that's really not my target market. And, but I mean, I find lots of people just by doing that. So what happens when they accept your friend request? That's the next question. They accept your friend request. You send them a message. Hey, Jill, thanks so much for the ad. I saw that we are both Kansas City neighbors. I thought it would be fun to connect. That's it. I try to find a question to ask. So a lot of times I'll go and look at Jill's page and I'll see, does she have kids going back to school? Does she live in my neighborhood? So I'll try to find a question to ask. Hey, Jill, so, thanks for the ad. I always thank them for adding me because, they've accepted a friend request from a stranger. Thanks for the ad. I saw we had a lot of mutual friends. Do you live in the Northland area? Question. So now a question, again, we're very polite people. She's now most likely going to respond. Sometimes, to be quite honest, I don't have anything. It's like maybe I friend requested somebody from that friends you may know list from Facebook. And, I'm like, I really don't know what we have in common. Or I'll just say it. Say, hey, thanks for the ad, and Facebook recommended that we might be friends. So I thought it would be fun to connect. And I just tell people I like to make new friends, so I thought it would be fun to connect. Sometimes I'll get a friend request from a random person, right? So somebody like me on the other end that somehow, and I will ask them, I'll say, hey, thanks for the ad. Love to make new friends. How did our paths cross here on Facebook? So I just ask, how did our paths cross? Because I want to know, are you a coach? Did you find me through a mutual friend? Are you somebody that's interested in a challenge? So I think the thing about all of this is about be a person, be a real life person, be curious. If you want to make new friends with somebody and really you're just, take off your Beachbody hat. You may be thinking, well, the reason I want to be friends with this person is because this is what I have to do to be a Beachbody coach. I have to friend request strangers. No, let's think about it as being a human being who is open to new relationships and open to, putting the best version of us out there in the world to help people, inspire people, whatever. And let's just be honest. Hey, thanks for accepting my friend request. I just love to meet new people. Be honest. Don't overcomplicate it. You are not a creepy person because you are friend requesting strangers. You are not a creepy person. Number one, a lot of people are on Facebook for that very reason. They are open to meeting new people. There are some people that are very private. Some of you may have used to have been those people, myself included. My Facebook was private. You could only see me if you were in my inner circle and you were my friend. But again, I feel like I've grown as a person just because I feel like I'm open now. I'm more open. Not only is my Facebook page open, but I'm open to new relationships. And that's Facebook relationships, right? That's, most of it are people I'm never going to meet, but I can't tell you how much I get from the friendships I've made. And you will too. You just have to be a real person. Okay, so hopefully that gave you some ideas on expanding your friends network. If you are running out of people to invite, then you need to spend more time expanding your network. All right, so now people are interested. Now what do you do? So maybe you did the Facebook post that said, I want to join my challenge, and a bunch of people said, yeah, I'm interested. Or, maybe this was a private message that you sent, the Amy message. Hey, Amy, do you have some fit goals you'd like to tackle? Here's what you do next. You ask questions. You always lead with a question. Take off again, this is where you're not a salesperson. Not a salesperson. Salespeople, when somebody says on your Facebook page, hey, yeah, send me more info. And this is what I used to do because I'm a red personality. I'm going to get right to the point. I'm not a chit chatter. I want to, get in, get out, right? That's just the way I am. hey, send me more info. So then you would private message them, hey, Beth, my challenge group is a 21-day fix challenge, and it's, 21 days, and we're going to work out, and we're going to Shakeology, and it costs $140 and $2 in shipping, and this and that, and blah, 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 blah. You send them all this information. And then you never hear back from them again. Or they just ignore the message. You can see they read it. So they have all the information they need. Now they can go off to their own little world in their head and make a decision, right? Well, what we want to do is we want to help people make decisions, and that's what coaches do. Because chances are, if the people that are responding, we have dogs in the room that are sleeping. If they're responding, they're probably somebody that, maybe hasn't always made the best decisions, right? If they had a fitness program that worked, then they would be doing it and they wouldn't be asking. So now you've given them all this information. They're looking at it like, oh no, it's too much money. Oh, I could never do that. Oh, I looked it up on YouTube and the workouts look too hard. And I don't, so they're just making their own decisions. So don't do that. You want to get to know them. You want to build your relationship. So I'm so happy to hear you're interested in the Body versus Bikini Challenge. There's several questions you could ask them, not all of these at once, please. You don't want to be, what is it in the Spanish Inquisition? You don't want to be that person. What I usually say is, I'm so happy to hear you're interested in the Body versus Bikini Challenge. Can you tell me more about your fit goals? Now over here in my, I've already asked them to tell me about their fit goals. So chances are they're going to respond with something to say, yeah, I want to lose weight. I like it a lot better when people say, yeah, I've just got these 30 pounds and I keep carrying them since my baby, and I've got this, wedding in the fall, and I like it, when people tell me more, that's great. When somebody just says I want to lose weight, well, then I'm going to dig deeper. Because if somebody just says I want to lose weight, then if that's as deep as we go, chances are we're not going to go anywhere. The reason you want to form people, and that means and it means family. You're asking, it's an acronym for family, friends. O stands for occupation. R stands for relationships. And then M is your message. So it's basically what we call getting to know people. There's a book, or Danny Johnson. She is the one that kind of taught us the form process. So if you haven't ever checked out Danny Johnson, that might be something you want to do. But that's what we mean. We just call forming. It's basically getting to know them. Some other questions you might ask, like with my Keep It Simple invite that I sent, they may tell me that what they have. They may tell me their fit goals, right? Because I always want to end with a question. I forgot to mention that. When you send that invite, always end with a question. And I like the question to be something like this. It's not a yes or no answer. Well, that one is a yes or no answer. People don't ever respond back and say yes or no. I mean, they always tell you what their fit goals are. You can end it with, would you like to know more? But again, that's kind of just a really hard yes or no answer. But don't just end it with, are you interested? I just don't like that. Are you interested? But so now they've told me, yeah, I have some fit goals I'd like to hit. So I might want to ask them next, well, are you currently working on those? And what kind of things have you done in the past? Because I want to get to know them. What has worked for you before? Why isn't it working for you anymore? Do you struggle more with fitness or nutrition? You're trying to get to understand what they really need from you. What they need, and what do you have to offer them? Because before you answer their questions, you have to know what their needs are. So that's why now, after they've given you all this information, they told you, I work out, I have no problem. I go to the gym 5 times a week. It's just, I can't, this eating thing, I just can't get it figured out, or man, I was going to the gym, but I just, been so busy with back to school stuff, and I just haven't, I've just totally fallen off, and I just can't. Or I used to do Weight Watchers, and that worked really great for me, and I can't seem to get back in that groove. All this is great information, because now you can process that, and you can be a coach, and you can say, okay, well, based upon what you've told me, then I think this program is going to work awesome for you. This challenge is going to be right up your alley. And then you can tell them why. because, you know, you can do it at home and it only takes 30 minutes a day because it gives you these portion controlled eating plans and da-da-da-da. So I'm going to tell them a little bit. I might ask them, have you heard of the 21-day fix? I might ask them that because that's usually what I'm recommending, because a lot of people have heard of it by now. It's like widely publicized. Beachbody, thank you so much for their marketing efforts, right? Name recognition. I might send them a video. So you can go into your coachingcodes.com. Anybody still using that? That's where you can find videos. You can send them a video and say, well, hey, you know, I really think you're going to love this program. Are you familiar with it? And they're like, no, I've never heard of it. I said, oh, well, if I send you this short video, would you watch it? So that'll give you some information about it. Sure, I'll watch it. Can you watch it now? Because it's only like a minute. Sure, I can watch it now. Okay, I'll wait. No, you don't see that. And then you can, and you know, if they say, well, no, I'll check it out tomorrow. Say, okay, great. Well, I'll follow up with you tomorrow after work. Does that sound good? Yeah, okay. So this is why you want to do this. So I hope this answers that question of what do I do next? And again, I've included at the end of this a link to the entire challenge script that Gabrielle has put together for you. So you know exactly how to progress through this whole process up until the point where they're ready to order their challenge pack. Sound like a winner? It's been there all along, so make sure you check into those Google Docs. Here's the if I would you. So you've asked them these questions, they've told you all this stuff, and now that's when you say, if I send you this short video that explains a little bit more about a challenge group, you know, what it's like, would you have time to watch it? You know, I don't always use if I would you. It's not always appropriate for where I'm at, but it's a great thing to do because you get them to commit to something. You're not getting them to commit to purchasing right now, right? You're not at that point yet, but you're getting kind of a little bit of a win in there. And that's important. Another thing you want to do is emotionally detach from the outcome. And that sounds kind of hard, but this is what I was referring to earlier. The outcome a lot of us have in our heads is a success club point. It's a challenge pack. It's a sale. We don't want to be salespeople. So we want to emotionally detach from that kind of an outcome. But we do want to be invested in the relationship. So when you're having these conversations, I want you to seek to educate. I want you to seek to understand. And I want you to seek to build a relationship. And I have to tell you, this takes skill and it takes practice, especially for someone like myself who is not, you know, this doesn't have to be a long drawn out process, but it's certainly not a, you know, in and out, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, move on to the next thing, right? Relationships don't occur that way. It takes a little time. But seriously, I mean, you can do this over the course of 24 hours if the person is, you know, in that frame of mind, or it may take you a week. You know, because you post and that person, you know, goes off to bed and then you read their response in the morning and then you respond back and they see your response in the next evening after work. I mean, so it can take a little time, but I can tell you it's worth it. And if you're doing your invites every day, you're always going to have these cycling through. So this isn't the one and only person you're talking to, right? And that's when we really pin all of our emotions, is when we're just talking to one person. And so that's why, you know, sometimes you'll hear me say it's a numbers game, and that sounds, I think, kind of cold, but it really is. There's, like I said, there's infinite amount of people out there on Facebook. There's millions of people that every single person that has a body needs to take care of it, right? So our market as Beachbody coaches is just so vast. There's, you know, you should always, that's why if you're inviting, if you're adding new friends, you're always going to have people that you're talking to. So don't emotionally attach to one single person, right? And that outcome, your outcome of having them join your challenge group could take 6 months. It could take 2 years. I know. So you have to get off that outcome. And that will only happen if you're doing the numbers. Does that make sense? So seek to educate. This is important. Sometimes people, you know, oh, well, is it that Shakeology stuff? Yeah, well, I do this other thing and, you know, it's a lot cheaper. And, ooh, that used to get me like, oh, you know, I'd start getting all like head up about that. I could feel my body get warm and, you know, I'd be, you know, tapping out my stuff and they'd be tapping back. And I'm just like, So sometimes if you start to feel yourself get really emotionally invested, then you need to just step away from the computer and just remind yourself, okay, I'm here to educate, not convince. I'm here to inform, not convince. I'm here to educate, not convince. I'm not here to convince anybody to do anything. I'm simply sharing information. And sometimes I'll tell them that. I'll say, you know, I'm not here to convince you to do something. I'm just sharing what I've experienced. You know, so don't get into arguments. Don't get into defending your products. I know we're like crazy about them. Just be calm, be professional, stay above the line, show them that, you know, I'm here to share information. And if you're completely happy with what you're doing, you know, then I'm not here to convince you to change. You know, I might offer to send, you know, can I share the ingredients with you just so you can take a look and compare that to what you're using? You know, if people are just totally based on the bottom line price, then really there's nothing you can say. You know, they're going to choose their Walmart generic protein powder. So anyway, seek to understand, and that's when you're forming people, you're just seeking to understand. So if somebody tells you, I just don't think this is the challenge. I don't still think this is for me. I don't think I'll be able to stick to this. Oh, okay. Well, you know, can you tell me more about that? Why do you think that? Well, you know, I just, you know, and they're going to tell you more stuff. They're going to give you more information, or else they won't, right? But they're going to help you understand more. And so again, maybe you're being a coach. Well, you know what? Maybe you're going to recommend, well, you know, I would suggest you just get out and walk for 5 minutes a day. That would, you know, because you don't understand what their problem is until you've asked them to share with you. Maybe the solution to what they need right now is to just get off the couch and start moving. Walk, you know, couch to 5K. There's a lot of things you can recommend, a lot of things you can help people with. And you're not the nutrition expert, you're not the fitness expert, but you know lots of people that have lots of experience at that stuff. And you can always ask us, what would you recommend? You know, and it may not be a Beachbody program. Beachbody programs aren't the answer for everybody at every particular time in their life, right? So seek to understand, seek to build a relationship. And when you do that, you're going to add so much value. People are going to follow you and they're going to message you and say, oh my gosh, you know, you don't know that what I started doing. I started just by, reading your posts every day and kind of doing what you say in those motivational messages every day. I started walking and I started, you know, changing how I eat, and I've lost 30 pounds. And you're just going to be like, really? I made this impact on this person's life, and they haven't bought anything from me. I haven't really hardly talked to them, but I have just changed their life. That's what you need to keep in your mind. That's what your outcome is. That's what your outcome needs to be. Have good posture. Well, yes, we should sit up straight and do that. But what I mean by posture is confidence. And this is key. You have to ask yourself, do you believe in what you're doing? If you think that Shakeology is too expensive and nobody can afford it, and really they can go to Walmart and get it, then nobody's going to buy Shakeology from you ever. If you're apologetic about it, nobody's ever going to purchase Shakeology. If you think that a challenge pack is too expensive, nobody's ever going to do it. If you think that, you know, people can get just as good results without doing, then no, they're not going to do it. You have to be convicted. You have to be convinced that this is it. You know, I believe in this. This is what works for me. Yeah, there are other ways, and I will even tell them, you know, I know there's other ways to get fit. This is what, you know, I've been doing personally for myself. It's what my family does, and I know that it works. If somebody wants to make a different decision, then I will even tell people, say, you know, good luck. You know, I really hope that works for you, and will you keep me posted, because I'm your biggest fan. I will always tell people that when they tell me that they want to do something else. So you just have to be convicted about it. And that maybe convict is not the right word, but I like that word. So somebody told me, oh, convicted, that means you're convicted of a crime. I'm like, well, I like that word. So you have to have conviction. Same thing with the business. So a lot of you are new coaches. A lot of you are, right now, you had to get over your own skepticism, your own fear, your own doubts to sign up as a coach. You had to get over that just to get, you know, and now you're saying, you want me to invite people to do this, and I'm still not really sure about it. Once you're sure about it, that's when people will start responding. You have to be, again, and I know it takes some time to get there, believe you me. But you know what? Act as if. Act as if. Act as if. That means, okay, Gabrielle and Deb and Stephanie and Molly, and they've all told me this works. Hillary Kelly and Jen O'Keefe and Jody, they've all said, and I know Melanie Mitro said this, and Tara Carr said that, and gosh, Katie Ersta, gosh, and Summer Powers, they've all said these things, and okay, then I can do that. That's the way I'm going to think about this. I'm going to believe that. I'm going to have that faith. So I'm going to act as if this is all that that this has already happened to me, right? This business is what I want to do. I know this works because I see it working for other people. I believe that anybody would be crazy not to do this. That's what I believe. I don't necessarily say that. I mean, I might say that to some people, but I really believe that. And what I've had to learn is that this isn't for everybody. It can be, but they have to want it, and not everybody wants to do what we do. And thank goodness for that. I mean, gosh, who would cut my hair if everybody wanted to be a full-time Beachbody coach? Who would do our taxes and all this? I mean, but you know what I'm saying? You have to be very confident about what you're offering, not apologetic. What, do I have to buy a challenge pack to sign up to be a coach? Well, actually, the challenge pack is it gives you all the tools you need for your turnkey business. And not only are you starting a business for $140, but you're also getting products and tools that you're going to use for your own personal health improvement. So it's absolutely the way to get started. If I can't afford it, well, let's talk about when you can. I'm personally not, I will actually try to talk people out of signing up for just $40. If you're not going to invest in the product for your own self, why would I want you to pay $40 and then pay $15.95 a month? You're not going to sell anything, most likely. There are exceptions, but if you're not using the products and you're not a part of the product and you have any credibility, you're just a salesperson. And I haven't met anybody that's on our team that's wanted to be a salesperson. So again, you need to be confident. You need to understand what you have to offer. And what you have to offer, is amazing. You have, for someone to start a business for $140, no overhead. I meet people, they want to open a gym. I'm like, that's great. I'm just thinking to myself, oh my gosh, that's expensive. And then you got all these, red tape and licenses and employees, that's great. Maybe that's something that they want to do, but you can do this too instead, and this will help you finance that gym. That's what I tell people. So think about your posture, think about your mindset, ask yourself, how do I feel about this? Am I really convicted about this? Do I really believe this works? Do I really believe the products work? Am I having success myself? If you're not having success yourself, you need to start there. You need to find out why, and you need to get back with your coach and be coached on your fitness program. Okay? Because the products work, we know that. If you do it and you do it right, we know that. So if you're not getting the results you're looking for from your fitness, you need to get back with your coach and be coached, right? And from a business perspective, you just need I just kept listening to the stories. Those national wake-up calls every week, I would have those people pour their stories into my head, and I would just be thinking, oh my gosh. And with the help of my personal development, and I'm just looking, what I'm reading now. I read everything, Joel Osteen, Guy Kawasaki, Danny Johnson, Eric Ward, everything, all this stuff that I was pouring into my head telling me that I can. You have to believe that I can. No matter where you came from, no matter, where you're at in your finances or what your education is or your circumstances today, you can. There's nothing, no special trick about this. I shared my income with you. I didn't get to where I'm at today because I have some special gift about this. I had to learn, I had to struggle, I had to go outside my comfort zone. I had to do things that made me afraid, that made me feel uncomfortable. I had to do all that stuff just like you do. But we do all have special gifts. So make sure you know what those are, okay? You all have special gifts. And I would challenge you to write those down right now, or at least have that be your homework afterwards. I want you to write down your special gifts, your special talents. Maybe you have a great way of making people feel at ease. Maybe people have complimented you on, your cooking. I mean, whatever it is, we all have gifts. So you need to make sure you know what they are, because sometimes we think, well, I don't have those gifts, so therefore I don't have any, right? You all have your own set of gifts that are amazing. So just remember that. Finally, follow up. Do what you said you would do. And what that means is I try to get a timeline with people. So if I'm going along in the conversation and they're telling me that they want to do it, and I'll take a look at that, and I'll ask them. I'll say, well, can I follow up with you tomorrow afternoon? Or they'll say, well, like I had somebody today, this week, she said, send me the coach link. Yeah, I'm so excited about this. I sent it to her and I'm so excited, and I'm looking and I'm not seeing it. So I messaged her and I said, I said something like, hey, are you gonna, what's your timeline for getting enrolled? I just asked her, what's your timeline? Are you gonna be able to get that done today? And she said, no, I'm gonna do it next week. So, I might even go back to her and say, okay, well, should I follow up with you like on Tuesday? And the reason you want to do that is because then you can follow up on Tuesday. And now you're doing what they gave you permission to do, right? Sometimes we kind of wonder, well, when should I follow up? When should I follow up? Well, if they've given you permission to follow up tomorrow, if they've said, I'm going to order this when I get off work today, and you say, oh, great, I'll look for that order tonight, and you don't see that order, they've really given you permission to follow up, right? So the next morning, hey, Susie, I'm just checking in because I didn't see that order come through. I wanted to make sure that it got processed correctly. Oh, I didn't get it done. I got home late. So, I'll get to that on my lunch break. Okay, great. I'll be sure to look for that. That's how you get over that whole, well, I don't know when to follow up thing. It's just to make it, ask. And especially when somebody tells you, I'm going to place that order today, and they don't, you follow up the very next day or that evening. If they say they're going to place it in the morning, follow up that night. Because people get busy. Oh, I forgot all about that. Yeah, I'll do that right now. Or maybe they placed the order and they already had an account and they didn't know it. And oh my gosh, yeah, I placed that this morning. Oh, did I? What? Oh, well, I already had an account and it showed some random codes and I didn't know how to change it to you. Oh, well, I can help you with that. There's all kinds of things, but you don't know if you don't ask. So don't be afraid to follow up. And my favorite expression, my favorite follow-up phrase at the end of the day is, I totally don't want to be a pain, but I know you really wanted to get in my challenge that starts next week and this date is coming up. Did you change your mind? Always ask them. Give them permission to tell you no. Because remember, a response is better than a no response. I mean, I've had people say, well, I was just kind of embarrassed because, my car broke down and actually I don't have the money to do it now. I mean, I feel so bad because they were embarrassed to tell me that. I don't want people to be embarrassed. I'm their friend. We have a relationship and it's okay. I want them to feel okay with telling me no, right? So I totally don't want to be a pain. I know you're really excited about this. Did something change or did you decide? Sometimes I'll say, did you decide to do something different? And sometimes they'll say, well, yeah, I've just decided I'm gonna do my own thing for now, just, and see how that goes. Okay. And then when I'm doing my A to Z invites, next month, like, right, I'm opening my friends list and I see, oh, last month she said she was gonna do her own thing. Okay, so I'll ask her, how's that going? And sometimes she'll say, oh, it's going great. But more often they're gonna say, it's not going so well. Like, oh, darn. I'm gonna be there. So that's that's my tips on power inviting. I'll put this in our docs, but I gave you a couple books. I mean, GoPro by Eric Worre. It's like the classic book on network marketing. Eric Worre is just an expert. He has a great chapter in here called Inviting. He has a chapter on following up, on how to find people. Sometimes his stuff is a little bit more towards like people that do meetings, meetings and things like that versus what we do on social media. But I'm telling you, all the top coaches have read this and have it stamped in their brain. And then I mentioned the Danny Johnson script book. Again, hers is a lot more oriented towards phone prospecting and stuff like that. But she does have some really good tips on how to talk to people and that. And then I also have included a link to the challenge invite script, which is in our Google Docs. And it's called Challenge Script from Invite to Sign Up, and that's there. Everyone should be able to get to it. The link is view only, so everyone that has that link should be able to get to it. I wanted to show you real quick, since we're doing a little experiment here. Okay, I guess I still need to share my screen. I haven't looked. Gosh, we've been an hour. Man, you guys, there's so much to talk about. Appreciate you guys staying on. I hope it's helpful. Yes. I can only see a few of you right now. Okay, so this is like, I'm so excited. I don't know what this is going to do. I'm going to see what my messages look like. No, I don't think I want to close all the tabs. So I said I sent out 50 invites. I don't know what it looks like, but let's see. Here's my theory. If you do not wake up in the morning with messages in your inbox, you did not do your invites the day before. And I like to, a lot of times, I think, inviting in the evening, and then I go to bed, and invariably it's like people are like up or doing Facebook before they go to bed. So there seems to be a lot of responses versus when I invite in the morning. So let's see. I wish I didn't have all those popping up. So right now I have 18 messages, and here's somebody that said she was doing her own thing. How are you doing with your fitness? Doing well. It's always a struggle, So, maybe I'm going to go ahead and send her, say, well, I've got this thing coming up. Here's another one. I sent her, she said, sure. What do I need to do? Okay. And you can see, you look at the history. I've been talking to Lilia, and she's never done a challenge with me. I don't know. Conversation started March 2012. I think she was a free lead I got from Beachbody, and she bought something a long time ago, but it was a customer lead. Here's somebody else. Is it like the 21-day fix? Yes, it is very much like that. Here's somebody else. Not at the moment, maybe this winter. She's 8 months pregnant. So now, see, I can put that on a follow-up, right? Like I've been using Asana, which you can use follow-ups any which way you want. Don't get, confused by that, but I can put that on a follow-up. I can put it on a whiteboard and say, follow up in January. So again, I have I don't want to look at them all right now because I want the anticipation of when I get off this call. It's just so much fun. I'm telling you, when I was doing the invites, I was getting excited. And I know to me, inviting is not, it's not the funnest task for me because again, I'm that introvert, but when I invite, I start to get excited because I start seeing the previous conversations that I had with people. I'm like, oh, wow, this, and I start, oh yeah, they may be ready now. And I'd love to find out what's going on with her now. Oh, last time I talked to her, she was pregnant and find out about the baby. So I start to get excited. And then I get excited when I wake up in the morning. It's like Christmas, open your computer and see who's responded. So that's my thing. So if you're doing a lot of inviting, you may say, well, Deborah, I've invited all 200 people on my Facebook list and nobody's talking to me. Well, then you just need to add more people. I mean, if people are giving you crickets, that's it. I mean, you cannot invest yourself emotionally in people that aren't interested right now. I have a lot of people that I invited on my 50 that I can see I've invited them over and over and they've never responded. But I'm like, okay, what the heck? I'll send it again. Because I know I've had at least one person that I did that with that said, hey, yeah, thanks for thinking. I'm like, so, it doesn't cost me anything to do my copy paste to that one person, even though I've sent like since 2012, I've been sending that, it doesn't hurt. And you never know when somebody's ready. So that's it. I'm going to stop recording.